So we were so excited to say, we're seeing something happen in the second generation. And so that brother Jeff, he came and he simply drew for us, began to map it out. So where has this evangelism team gone? What was the location of their ministry engagement, their seed sowing? What year did that begin? And it was 2006, and most of those cases we mapped out at that time. And he just began to graphically illustrate this idea of a second generation of churches. I remember him talking about just the transition where we had disciples and church planners who had previously been the kind of the standard of success in that ministry, starting multiple first-generation churches. So a church planter previously might have started 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 different church starts, but by the time all of that good addition, by the time we were actually seeing second gen underneath those, we recognized, and I remember specifically in our partner's mind, just watching his face as the lights come on to understand that growth across the page, as we mapped those out, was beautiful. It was God honoring, and yet it was bound to addition. And as his lights came on to recognize that growth down the page, in the sense of generations that could be pushed forward, pushed out, instead of gathering, rather starting with those Cornelius figures out in the field, that growth down the page was a different paradigm. This was a transition to multiplication. When that light came on, the fact is, it's never been turned off again. That network understanding, just like a family tree. We can have more children, but when our children begin to give birth to the next generation, as we become grandparents, we truly multiply for the first time. Same truth applied to the kingdom of God. We might see someone able to give birth to a lot of children. The idea that they should become grandchildren or grandparents, great-grandparents, that's where we begin to multiply and genuinely see the kingdom advance. Genuinely see the king's reign, establishing communities it hasn't been.